We often look away from truths that make us uncomfortable, yet in that discomfort lies profound understanding. What if the stories we tell ourselves about aging and desire are incomplete? Stay with me, for the perspective we uncover by the end might gently reshape your view of life's full spectrum. Desire endures. It is a quiet misunderstanding, a whisper in the halls of societal expectation that the river of human desire simply runs dry as the seasons of life turn towards winter. But the water of this river, you see, flows from a deep spring, the spring of life itself. It is not merely a youthful torrent, but a current that adapts, changes its course, perhaps flows more gently, more deeply, but does not cease. To imagine that the capacity for connection, for the warmth of closeness, for the expression of affection in all its forms, vanishes with the silvering of hair is to misunderstand the very nature of being human. The heart, much like the mind, does not have an expiration date on its capacity to feel, to seek, to yearn for that touch, that glance, that shared silence that speaks volumes. This enduring desire is not a flaw or an anomaly. It is a testament to the life force that animates us, a quiet flame that continues to burn, seeking light, seeking warmth, seeking another. It may express itself differently, with a wisdom born of experience, with a tenderness that has known both joy and sorrow, but its essence remains. The societal narrative often paints later years as a time of quiet retreat from such things, a gentle fading. But within many, the landscape of feeling remains rich and fertile, capable of blossoming in ways that a younger self, perhaps more buffeted by the storms of passion, might not even comprehend. This continuity of desire is a thread that connects all stages of life, a quiet song that plays on, sometimes unheard by a world too busy, too loud to listen to its more subtle melodies. It's a call to look beyond the surface, beyond the lines etched by time, and see the enduring human spirit, still very much alive, still very much capable of reaching out beyond physical. The tapestry of human connection is woven with many threads, and as life unfolds, the colors and textures of these threads may shift in their prominence. In youth, perhaps the bright, fiery reds of physical passion are most visible, most celebrated. But with the passage of time, other threads, the deep golds of companionship, the soft blues of understanding, the resilient greens of shared history, may come to form the more intricate and comforting patterns of the whole. This is not to say that the physical thread frays or disappears, but rather that its significance becomes part of a larger, more nuanced design. For many women who have journeyed through 7 decades or more, intimacy can take on these broader, more encompassing meanings. It is found in the shared cup of tea in the morning quiet, in the comfortable silence of reading side by side, in the gentle touch of a hand that offers support, in the laughter that erupts from a shared memory. It is a language spoken not just by bodies, but by hearts and minds that have learned to listen to each other in ways that transcend the purely physical. This evolution is not a loss, but an expansion. It is the wisdom of understanding that true intimacy, the kind that nourishes the soul, is a multifaceted gem. The physical aspect can remain a cherished part of this, but it is often integrated into a wider appreciation for emotional closeness, for intellectual kinship, for the profound comfort of simply being truly seen and accepted by another. This reprioritization, or perhaps this blossoming into a fuller understanding of connection, is one of the quiet strengths that age can bestow. It's a movement from a singular focus to a holistic embrace, where every gesture of care, every shared moment of understanding contributes to the deep well of intimacy. Embracing change. The body is a vessel, a temporary home for the spirit, and like any dwelling exposed to the elements of time, it changes. The winds of years, the rain of experiences, they alter its form. This is a natural law, as inevitable as the turning of the seasons. Society, particularly in its reverence for a fleeting image of youthful perfection, often casts these changes in a negative light, as a loss, a decline. But what if we were to look at these changes through a different lens, the lens of acceptance, of understanding? For a woman in her later years, the relationship with her physical form undergoes a profound transformation. There can be a letting go of the struggle against time, an acceptance of the body as a faithful companion that has carried her through life's journey, with all its scars and softness telling a story. This embrace of change is not always easy. It requires courage, a gentle heart towards oneself. But in this acceptance, there can be a newfound freedom. Freedom from the relentless pursuit of an unattainable ideal. Freedom to appreciate the body for what it can still do, for the sensations it can still experience, for the simple fact of its being. Intimacy, then, is not solely reliant on a particular physical aesthetic, but on a comfort within one's own skin, a willingness to be vulnerable and authentic. The beauty that radiates from a person who is at peace with themselves, who carries their years with grace and self-compassion, has a depth that a flawless, youthful surface cannot match. It's a beauty that comes from within, from a life lived, from wisdom gained. This acceptance allows for a different kind of sensuality, one that is less about performance and more about presence, less about external validation and more about internal congruence and shared experience. Redefining intimacy. The word intimacy itself can be like a vessel, which we fill with meaning based on our experiences, our cultural narratives, our personal journeys. For a long time, particularly in common discourse, this vessel has been predominantly filled with the meaning of physical sexual contact. But as life offers more perspectives, as understanding deepens, we may find the need to gently empty this vessel and refill it with a richer, more diverse blend of meanings. For women over 70, the definition of intimacy often expands far beyond the conventional. It becomes a broader concept encompassing emotional vulnerability, intellectual connection, spiritual resonance, and shared moments of simple human presence. It might be the profound understanding that passes between old friends, the comfort of family bonds, the joy of shared creativity, or the deep satisfaction of mutual support. This redefinition is not about diminishing the significance of physical closeness if it is present and desired, but about recognizing that the human need for connection can be met in a multitude of ways. It is about acknowledging that the landscape of the heart has many paths to fulfillment. Perhaps intimacy is found in the act of caring for another or being cared for. Perhaps it is in the intellectual spark of a stimulating conversation or the shared peace of appreciating nature together. This expansion allows for a more resilient and adaptable approach to connection, one that is not solely dependent on a partner or on a specific type of relationship. It's an understanding that the wellspring of connection is vast and its waters can nourish in countless forms. This flexibility, this ability to find and cultivate intimacy in diverse expressions, is a quiet wisdom that enriches the later chapters of life, making them potentially more meaningful and deeply connected than earlier years, which might have been constrained by narrower definitions. Open hearts. Communication, in its truest sense, is the bridge between two souls. It is not merely the exchange of words, but the sharing of inner landscapes, the unveiling of vulnerabilities, the honest expression of needs and desires. As life progresses, and particularly in the realm of intimate relationships in later years, the importance of this open-hearted communication becomes ever more paramount. The assumptions and unspoken expectations that might have been navigated, sometimes awkwardly in youth, give way to a clearer, more direct path if intimacy is to flourish. For women who have lived many decades, there can be a newfound clarity, a shedding of pretenses that allows for a more authentic dialogue about their emotional and physical needs. This doesn't mean it's always easy. Years of habit, societal conditioning around what is proper for older women to discuss or desire can create internal barriers. But the courage to speak one's truth, to express what brings joy, what brings comfort, what is desired in terms of affection or physical closeness, becomes a key that unlocks deeper connection. This also involves the art of listening, truly listening to a partner, understanding their changes, their needs, their fears. It's a dance of mutual respect and responsiveness. When hearts are open, when communication flows gently and honestly, even challenges related to health or changing physical capacities can be navigated with grace and shared understanding. New ways of being intimate, of expressing love and affection, can be discovered together, born from this willingness to be vulnerable and to truly hear one another. This deep, honest dialogue is perhaps one of the most profound forms of intimacy itself, fostering a connection that can weather any storm. Vital well-being. The connection between intimacy, in its broadest sense, and overall well-being is a profound one, often underestimated. It's not just a matter of fleeting pleasure, but something that touches upon the very core of our human need for belonging, for touch, for affection, for feeling valued and desired. For women in their 70s and beyond, maintaining connections that include these elements can be a significant contributor to their vitality, both emotional and physical. The warmth of a loving touch, the comfort of a hug, the joy of shared laughter, the sense of being deeply understood by another, these experiences release beneficial chemicals in the brain, reduce stress, and can even bolster the immune system. It's the body's natural way of responding to positive social and emotional stimuli. When we feel connected, when we experience affection and tenderness, there's a sense of aliveness that permeates our being. This isn't necessarily about frequent sexual activity, but about the quality of connection and the presence of loving, affirmative relationships. Loneliness, on the other hand, can be a heavy cloak, dampening the spirit and even impacting physical health. Therefore, cultivating and sustaining intimate bonds, whether with a partner, close friends, or family, becomes an act of self-care, a way of nurturing one's own life force. The surprising fact here is not that connection is good for us, that is intuitive, but the depth and breadth of its impact on health and vitality, particularly as we age. It underscores that our need for love and belonging doesn't diminish with years. It remains a fundamental pillar of a life lived well and fully, contributing to resilience, happiness, and a continued engagement with the world. Societal veils. We live in a world that often speaks in loud volumes about youth and its associated attributes, while casting a veil of silence, or worse, of caricature, over the inner lives and desires of older individuals. This is particularly true when it comes to the sexuality of older women. Society seems to have prescribed a script of passionless, desireless grandmotherhood, a gentle fading into a desexualized existence. These societal veils are woven from threads of discomfort, ageism, and a lack of understanding. They create an environment where older women may feel invisible, or where their natural human desires are deemed inappropriate or even shameful. To speak of the sex lives of women over 70 is, for some, to touch upon a taboo, to pull back a curtain that many would prefer remained closed. But these veils obscure a rich and varied reality. They prevent open conversation, they limit access to information and support, and they can lead to a profound sense of isolation for those who do not fit the prescribed narrative. The surprise in many facts about this topic stems directly from the effectiveness of these veils. Lifting them requires courage, both from individuals willing to share their truths and from a society willing to listen without judgment. It means challenging outdated stereotypes and recognizing the full humanity of women at every stage of life. It means understanding that dignity and desire are not mutually exclusive, and that the capacity for love, affection, and intimate connection does not wither with age unless it is starved by silence and misunderstanding. The journey towards a more enlightened view involves gently parting these societal veils, allowing the light of truth and empathy to illuminate a more complete and respectful picture of aging. Soulful Bonds. As the river of life flows onwards, its current often carves deeper channels of understanding and connection, moving beyond the sometimes turbulent rapids of youthful romance into the calmer, more profound waters of soulful bonds. For many women who have navigated 7 decades or more, the emphasis in intimate relationships often shifts towards a depth of emotional and spiritual connection that can be incredibly enriching. This is not to say that passion fades entirely, but that it becomes interwoven with, and sometimes beautifully superseded by, a different kind of intensity, the intensity of shared souls. It's about being seen, truly seen, in one's entirety, with all the imperfections and wisdom accumulated over a lifetime. It's about a companionship that understands silences as much as words, a mutual respect that honors individual growth even within the shared space of a relationship. This kind of bond is built on a foundation of shared history, common values, or sometimes a surprisingly deep connection found later in life with a kindred spirit. It's the comfort of knowing there is someone who truly gets you, who accepts you without reservation, and with whom you can share your innermost thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. This soulful intimacy can be found with a long-term partner, where the roots have grown deep and strong over many years. Or it can blossom in new relationships, where life experience allows for a quicker recognition of genuine connection. The surprising element here is perhaps how fulfilling and central these soulful bonds become, often representing the pinnacle of relational achievement. It's a quiet strength, a resilient joy that sustains and nurtures, proving that the heart's capacity for deep connection only expands with wisdom and time, exploring anew. The idea that learning and exploration are provinces of the young is a misconception that curtails the potential for growth at any age. Life is a continuous journey of discovery, and this holds true for the realm of intimacy and connection in the later years. For women over 70, there can be a surprising and liberating sense of exploring anew, of rediscovering themselves and their desires in ways they might not have anticipated or had the freedom to pursue earlier in life. This exploration can take many forms. It might involve a new relationship after a period of being alone, bringing with it the excitement and nervousness of any new romantic endeavor, but viewed through the lens of greater self-awareness. It could be a deepening of intimacy with an existing partner, where changes in health or life circumstances necessitate finding new ways to connect and express affection, leading to unexpected discoveries about each other. For some, it might even be an exploration of their own sensuality, a journey of self-acceptance and pleasure that was perhaps suppressed or unexplored in younger, busier years, when societal expectations or family responsibilities took precedence. This isn't about recklessness, but about a gentle curiosity, a willingness to remain open to experience. The surprising aspect is the vitality and openness that can emerge when old scripts are discarded, and individuals give themselves permission to define their own happiness and fulfillment. It is a testament to the human spirit's enduring capacity for growth and adaptation, a quiet rebellion against the notion that life's adventures cease at a certain age. This continued exploration, whether of self, of partnership, or of connection in its myriad forms, keeps the spirit supple and engaged, adding a vibrant thread to the tapestry of later life. Adapting love. Love, in its most resilient form, is not a static entity, but a living, breathing force that adapts to the changing landscapes of life. As individuals journey through their 70s and beyond, the nature of their intimate partnerships often undergoes significant transformations, requiring a profound capacity to adapt love itself. This adaptation might be necessitated by health challenges in one or both partners, which can alter physical capabilities and redefine roles within the relationship. It might be prompted by retirement, which changes daily routines and the amount of time spent together, requiring new ways of navigating shared space and individual needs. Or it could be shaped by the simple, natural process of aging, which brings with it shifts in energy levels, desires, and perspectives. The surprising strength lies in the willingness of couples to meet these changes, not as insurmountable obstacles, but as invitations to deepen their understanding and find new expressions for their affection and commitment. Love adapts by becoming more patient, more compassionate, more focused on the core of the connection rather than on external forms that may no longer be possible or relevant. It might mean that intimacy is expressed more through tender caregiving, shared quiet moments, verbal affirmations of love, or finding joy in new, gentler shared activities. This isn't a lesser form of love. It is love that has matured, weathered storms, and learned to bend without breaking. It is a testament to the enduring power of commitment and the human heart's ability to find meaning and connection even when circumstances demand a profound shift in how love is lived and expressed. This adaptive capacity is a quiet heroism, often unseen, but it is the bedrock of many long-lasting, fulfilling relationships in the later chapters of life. The journey through life's seasons brings with it an evolving understanding of ourselves and our connections. What we have touched upon is not merely a collection of facts, but a testament to the enduring human spirit, its capacity for love, desire, and profound intimacy, regardless of age. To truly see and honor this continuity is to embrace the fullness of life itself, recognizing the quiet wisdom and vibrant emotional worlds that flourish within those who have lived long and deeply. This was presented with such profound respect and gentle wisdom. It's so rare to hear these aspects of aging discussed so openly and beautifully. Thank you for lifting the veil and reminding us that human connection and feeling deeply are lifelong journeys, not limited by a number. Truly made me reflect.